So we're at it again with another Ferrari F50, but this time it's resin. And truthfully, at first I wasn't planning to get this, but then I realized it would eventually I'll want it, and then I'll have to pay an exorbitant price for it because it'll be all sold out. Because this is the Rosa Corsa, basically the red version of it, of which they made around 800, which I guess makes sense because it is the most popular color that people are going to be wanting. Okay, so DMH, I've run into them before, some problems in the past, but you know, some good ones as well. It's not licensed. If that bothers you, you probably shouldn't watch my channel. I mean, I buy licensed stuff, but basically I'm all after whatever looks as realistic as possible, legal or not. This looks like it's new. I've gotten a couple resin models that are used, so I'm always now wary of that. But just the way to tell for me is to look at the base and see if it's scratched up or not. Some tape apparently holding that down. I'm not going to really talk about the car because I'm pretty sure I've spoken about it when I reviewed the Kyosho or one of the other resin models of an F50. So this base is perfectly smooth. No scratches. This is a new model. Amazingly, there's no tape holding this together. So you gotta be really careful, you know, because it's gonna just fall right out. So look at some images. Now, are all F50s roadsters? Like, can all F50s remove the top and there's a hardtop version, or is there specifically a coupe? That I can't remember. Maybe I should have pulled up Wikipedia, but too late now. Alright, so I'm going to try to match up the front lines here. The windshield, yeah, that looks all good. The hump, the rear wing, I gotta say, it looks very much like the side photograph. And the wheels do as well. So, not bad. There's the car doing what it should be doing. Pretty hard to focus between two objects. That's why I make that rear 3/4 bigger. Doesn't look so bad. I mean, the exhausts on the model are very thick. I mean, they have to be though because they're 64 times smaller than the real tube. And then that's kind of off at an angle, so I apologize for that. Clear cover. It's on the model actually. Oh, it does have those vents, kind of, sort of. Well, we'll see. We'll get a different light angle here. And we'll start on this side here. Oh, well, first the base. So, DMH. Okay, I assume that's Italian for limited edition. And then, yeah, okay. So it's not an engraved, etched thing. I think it's probably a piece of plastic with some printing on it. It's interesting. I mean, well, I guess they had to do that. At first I was thinking, why don't they just print right onto the acrylic itself? I think it's because if the print goes wrong, they'd have to throw out the whole piece of acrylic, which could get costly. So that's probably why. Why does that say CLA? Please leave a comment if you know. The edges are totally polished. You can see it's crystal clear. You can see the wrinkles in my fingers through that, you know, whole chunk of plastic. That's really crazy. So that's cool. 2 screws holding it together. That's acrylic glue that you see down there. Looking at the front wheel here. Let me start zooming in. We are at 4 times. That's like looking at a 1/18 scale model. The printing course is pretty good. I think it's actually maybe a 3-dimensional photo etch piece. Yeah, it has to be. Look how shiny it is. So that's really impressive, a separate piece like that. It's not a sticker, it's actually a metal piece. And then the 3D printed wheels, they're okay. The spokes look pretty smooth. The center knockoff has the print lines going on. But yeah, they look pretty nice. And then the brake caliper looks fantastic, or does it? Hold on. To me, initial impressions is it's 3-dimensional. And then it also looks like it has Ferrari printed on it. I don't know if the Ferrari is really legible, but it's some sort of white text. And then the brake rotor is photo etched metal with some etched cross drilling pattern. I really want to make sure that caliper is three-dimensional. I've seen a lot of resins now with flat calipers and it bothers me. It looks three-dimensional to me. I'm looking through a phone screen, so, but initially it looks pretty good. The tires look pretty good. They're not super slab-sided. They have some curvature to them. And then look, there's almost no tread blocks on the side. So this is the way it should be done. I don't know why brands insist on showing huge tread blocks on the side. You see, it still has treads. They're just not huge, though. So that's more realistic than what I see in a lot of other die-cast and resins. Alright, we have a little marker here. Tiny little bump, maybe a resin, piece of resin, because it's sitting in like a dimple. And then the black line is done. Well, this black paint here, and that is a recess, by the way. The pick is dropping into it. The red paint is looking super smooth so far, the clear coat of it. And then I can't tell if that's below the clear coat or on top of it. I almost feel like it's below, but I might be mistaken. Okay, well, this all looks good. Now this definitely looks like it's on top of the clear coat, the Pininfarina script there. The vent back there, though, is looking good. It's a separate piece of photo etched metal painted black. The separation is what tells me that, the separation between red and black. Door panel cuts seem okay, compared to this toothpick at least. They seem alright. The rear wheel, the horse is generally in the upright position. The icon there. And then again, the calipers. Yeah, they look three-dimensional. So that's good. And again, no truck knobbies on the tires. I actually feel like it's too slammed. The rear is, touching the fender. The front is gappy as it should be. Actually, the real car is gappier than this, looking at those photos. But the rear is definitely slammed down too much, so I'm a little curious if I reduce the tension a little bit, if it'll pop up a little bit. No, it makes no difference. It just raises the whole model. So, I'm just going to make that tire touch down a little bit. I guess I'll just leave it like that. There's no rear side reflector. Interesting. The side mirror there has a mirror sticker. You can literally see it reflecting the red body and now the window. So that is a realistic mirror for sure. Then we have the front here. We have these vents. They look like photo etched metal pieces painted black again. And then we have these turn signal running lights, and they're like resin, I believe. Possibly on top of a piece of photo etched metal with some silver dots etched into it, or vice versa. So that's nice. You can see the light bouncing around in the red. So pretty cool. And then we have the two little headlight things, and they look like there's a little concentric circles, but they also look, the big ones at least, look like they have striations, like the Fresneling of a lens. Possibly, I'm seeing if there's a dome. Very often what they'll do is photo etch metal, the pattern, and then put a clear drop of resin or something on top of it. But honestly, I don't see too much of a dome. There might still be resin or at least clear coat paint. Because it looks a little too shiny to be raw plastic, but maybe that's the lens cover that's making it look shiny. Maybe it is just raw metal back there. Anyways, it looks pretty cool. And then this lens cover is really nice because it's not saturated with a bunch of glue around the perimeter. I almost see no glue. Maybe a little bit there. Not much on the sides. Maybe a little there. But here it's almost like there's no glue at all. On this side, again, very little glue. But there must be glue holding it in place. I mean, there's no peg holding this cover in place. So it's very well done. That's one of the best set of light covers I've seen in this hobby. Very cool. The Ferrari badge. Hold on. Sorry for the wobbliness. My camera's on a suspension mount. And it's got springs and so wobbles. The Ferrari badge looks kind of like a horse. kinda. I think I almost feel the wheels have better horses than this decal or whatever this thing is, and I think that's on the surface. I think I can feel it. Or maybe there's a very light clear coat over it, but oh well. Okay. Photo etch pieces, just because the break between the black and the red again. Very nice, very good. So the wiper blade here, it looks like it's bent 90 degrees to the window, so that's very realistic, and you can hopefully see they seem to have etched some, details into that blade, because it looks like there's literally air passing through, the wiper blade, so that's pretty neat. The arm, possibly, I don't know, can't say. I don't know where the other wiper blade would be. Is this really one wiper blade on the real car? Possibly. It's hard to see on the top photograph. Oh boy, so now I'm knocking around this camera boom. So super thin packaging plastic. I mean, it's so thin you can actually see how the other mirror through this curved surface, which is impossible on a molded mirror. I mean, on a molded window. So that's how thin it is. It's really impressive. You can see that mirror so easily. Alright, so I guess we'll just do the interior. 3 vents with the little vent line. The dash has a matte finish to it, as if it was like Alcantara or something like that, compared to the vents at least, which look a lot glossier. Then we have the floorboards. There's quite a texture there. Looks pretty good. The steering wheel has some photo etch piece. I don't know if those are paddle shifters or the controls for the wiper blades and the turn signals. Hard to say. The steering wheel itself looks like a racing steering wheel. No airbag. Has the prancing horse. Looks pretty good. Now we look at the rear view mirror. Again, it's got a sticker that is a mirror, and it is a red housing for the rear view mirror, so that's kind of cool. Now we have the seat cushions, red of course, so pretty good paint job there, not too much overrun if any. And then in the center we have the gated shifter, and that that gate is probably a photo etch piece where they etched away the pass for the shifter stick there. And there actually is a black ball on top of that shifter. Okay, the e-brake is actually suspended in the air, and that's 3-dimensional, molded piece. I'm gonna guess those rectangles there on the seats at the seatbelt buckles, and it looks like there's some red on them. And then we have the actual seat belts are floating in the air, and it looks like possibly a photo etched metal. I don't know what the other side of a seatbelt is. I'm pretty sure the locking thing is the buckle. But what do you call it? A tongue? A seatbelt tongue, maybe? I'm not sure what those things are called. You would think I would know, having been in many cars and reviewed so many of these, but please leave a comment, because I don't know. Okay, there's a texture there in the center column. I don't know if the real car maybe has a carbon fiber center column. Probably. Yes, maybe. It's interesting, yeah, the floorboards. It's got 2 surfaces, just the black paint and then those photo etched pieces. Alright, looking at the dash there. Yeah, it's black, so it's got I think I'm gonna need a flashlight. Oh, yeah, so there is a nice texture there in the dash. I wonder if that's a separate piece of metal. I wouldn't be surprised if that dashboard is a photo etched piece. And you look at that F50 on the right side, really well done. And then you have 3 vents maybe in the middle. And then the instrument binnacle looks like there's a decal with some gauges in white. Yeah, okay, looks good. Are those decals in between the seats and the doors on the floor? Yeah, I can see that pattern, and then a different pattern. Unfortunately, I'm holding a flashlight, so I can't point to it. You know what, let me put the model down. Let me re-angle this thing, maybe a little closer, like that. And I feel like right there's a different texture. See? I don't know if that's like a metal skid plate on the real car to protect the carbon fiber body. Probably. Maybe. It's all speculation, really. Just guessing. I'm looking for like pedals now, but the angle is not shown up yet where we could check for sure. It's just so dark down there. I think we would see pedals if there were any by now. Let me hit focus again. Yeah. Or, no, there it is. It's just way up there. Look at that. So there's like a silver etched piece probably, or possibly that's a decal. It's hard to say. So that's quite interesting that, you know, that thing is so far in there and yet they still put that detail there. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Alright, door panels. I don't know if there's a decal or what. I mean, it has a whole lot of molding detail, depth to it. But it also has like a carbon fiber appearance. So, it's hard to say. I don't know if it's a decal or a tampo print. Probably a decal. It's very common on resins to have decals. I'm not sure if they tampo print resin models. I don't think I've ever said that before, so it's weird that they don't. Okay, so it looks like there's like a piece of luggage right here behind the seats, and there's like two straps holding it in place. Or please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe that's where if there is a hood to this thing, maybe that's where it goes. Or at least on a Roadster, maybe it has a canvas top, and that rolls up and goes into that box. But the buckles look really nice, they're wider than the black strap. So maybe that's photo etched metal, hard to say, but it looks like a different material again. It looks like the same kind of finish as the dashboard. So that's cool. Alright, let me angle this upwards here. I wonder if the seats actually have a logo. And they do have kind of a prancing horse, but they missed the opportunity to put a little bit of silver on there. But maybe the real car doesn't. Maybe they're just embroidered black. In fact, I'm looking at that front photo, and I think they are just embroidered black. So, okay. It's weird that I had to pull out a flashlight even though the thing has no roof, but black tends to hide a lot of stuff. Okay. Anyways, that's really cool. Again, if that dash is photo etched metal, that's a really great way to show that texture. So, I guess we're moving towards the engine. We've got these two roll hoops, and they are passing air between the hoop itself, so that looks good. And then the good old engine cover. Now, we don't actually have like air slits, but it looks like they vacuum formed this engine cover because you can clearly see the outlines for where those air slits would be, the louvers. So I think it's good enough. I don't know if you could really... Well, I think that was maybe the F40 resin, and that may have actually had slits cut into it. At least one of my resin cars has slits cut into the engine cover. So, could it have been possible with slits this closely spaced together? Possible. Maybe not. I don't know. But I'm just happy that you can kind of see the outlines of those air slits. So, it's okay for me. Now, looking past that though, that is a really well done engine. There's a lot of textures, a lot of different colors. There's literally what looks like hoses there. I have to get the pick out here again. Let's first start here. This carbon fiber, I don't know if that's carbon fiber. It almost looks like it'd be woven with titanium, like I guess a carbon titanium weave or some sort of Kevlar or something like that. Anyways, it looks good. And then there's a prancing horse on it. So that could be a photo etched piece. It could be a foil sticker. I'm not sure. So that's two textures going on there. Then we have the matte black 3. And look at this tiny hose going to whatever that is, and this longer hose going back here to the, I don't know, the differential or transaxle, whatever that stuff is. And there's some black paint wash in that silver. So there's like 5 colors now, I think, 4 or 5. Then we have the suspension spring here. We have the top with some red. There's some green there. I don't know what the green is, but there's a lot of stuff going on in this engine. There's green on that side, red on that side. Over there, maybe that's a muffler. It looks like it's like a light gold color. This thing, whatever that is. And this one over there. I would have to assume that's the muffler, right? I don't know. Anyways, that is one of the best engines I've seen in a long time. Mostly because most engines don't have floating hoses. But those hoses are literally floating in the air. So, very cool. I wonder if that's 3D printed as a whole, or if they literally have to assemble parts to make that engine. I almost feel like this hose now is painted silver, this top one. But it might just be the light. This is a really bright LED we have above us. I don't know if there's a photo etch piece there, but it's very shiny. Yeah, I think that's photo etch, just the way the light is bouncing off of that. So there might be one right there as well. Wow, very cool. I am really happy I got this now. I don't really like the appearance of the F50 compared to the F40 at least, but this thing is awesome. Okay, well, the rear wing, not too thick, of course, being a resin model. And then the rear grate, photo etched, and you can see the engine through it, just like that rear photograph I pulled up. See, you can see the green there on the right side, right? The silver. So that is a nice rear grille. That's a realistic grille, just passing air, exhausting heat. And then that horse is a photo etch piece. It's just basically a chrome mirror right there. And then the taillight's a thick plastic or resin. Same thing, really. Yeah, there's red on the outside and orange on the middle of the outer one. And then we have silver, probably, or white for the backup of this one. I almost feel like this orange and the backup are inserted into these red things. Yeah, I think they are. I think that's a little glue residue or something right there. Again, this grill is just fantastic. Very well done. I've noticed this a lot in the resins recently. There's no license plate. You know, put a license plate and just write F50 on there. Or even write your brand on there. Or Ferrari. Or something. Granted, it does have the Ferrari badge up there. Oh, let me see if I can focus on it though. Yeah, I can't get in, zoom in further, so I gotta bring it up. Yeah, that's a legible Ferrari badge for sure. Photo etched. Okay, now those exhaust tips that we saw way at the start of this video, I think they are metal tubes because they're so thin, yet they're so round. I mean, it is possible they're plastic of some sort, but I don't know. But they look like tubes to me. I mean, I'm literally putting the pick in there and it's dark inside, so whatever they're made of, they're really well done. And then they're sitting inside of a big deep cavity there, so okay. It's just, yeah, that looks very plain to me. That's unfortunate. Maybe I'll put a license plate on it later. Did you see any defects? I don't think I complained at all. That's a miracle in its own. So this actually might be a flawless model, but maybe it'll come back to me if I complained. Look at that, the rear view mirror through the wing. That's so cool. Okay. So I did decide to pull up Wikipedia because I was curious. And yes, this is a 2-seat Targa top. So I'm pretty sure you can have a hardtop and you can have it as a roadster. So this first one is obviously the regular one with the hardtop, and this is by Runner. I don't see a brand on there. It says Runner. So I'm not sure who made that. I put my own license plate on the back of that one. This one is made by YM Model, and this is the GT version, like the racetrack oriented one. But I don't like the black wheels, you know, you can't see much. I think the reason why I was confused is because these are where I collected first, the Kyoshos. So the Kyosho Roadster and Coupe, I just assumed they were two different cars entirely. Anyways, these are die-cast metal. They have molded. This one has molded in mirrors. This one has separate mirrors, so that's interesting. You know, for original Kyosho prices, I think they're good enough. They're pretty well detailed, I guess, for a die-cast. But, you know, a die-cast is pales in comparison to something made out of resin. Die-casts are blobbier looking. They very often have thick paint on these lighter colors because it has a hard time covering up the edges of the metal. So it's simply an inferior material. If you're new collecting stuff, you got to get away from Hot Wheels mentality. You know, if you're going for high detail, go for resin, go for plastic. It's also lighter in weight. Okay, I guess I'll go with a low angle here now. So these cars were made between 1995 and 1987. There are 349 of them produced. And then we have a 4.7 liter V12 engine making 519 PS, which is 512 horsepower. And then this basically was the successor to the F40, and then the Enzo came along and took this out of the way. Alright, let's get these guys out of here. Alright, DMH, very good job today. Flawless to my recollection. So I can't say that about some of your, well, the Enzo I think I have from you, where the badge I think was upside down or something weird. So anyways, good stuff, and I'll try your brand again. Just make something that I want. I'll see you guys in the next review. Thanks for checking this out.